Most people think crypto networks compete with each other, but the future doesn't look like one chain winning. It looks like many chains using the same liquidity layer. In today's video, I'm going to explain how wrapped XRP on Solana works, why XRP being used as collateral on other chain matters, and how value flows back to the XRPL, creating a positive flywheel that drives price appreciation. This is not investment advice. This is about infrastructure and market mechanics. So what is wrapped XRP and what does it even mean? Well, let's make it simple. Wrapped XRP means real XRP is locked on the XRPL and is represented as XRP and it's issued on another chain. That wrapped version can be traded, used in DeFi, or posted as collateral. And the important point is wrapped XRP is not new XRP. It's the same XRP just being reused somewhere else. Now, I want to make an important designation here. Flare Networks uses a mirrored value of XRP on their chain. Wrapped XRP is exchanging your XRP for another asset, and therefore, as of today, is a taxable event. So if you are going to participate in DeFi ecosystems or actually do this with your XRP, just be aware you currently have tax obligations associated with that transaction. Every wrapped token requires three things: custody or a smart contract lockup, trust in the bridge mechanism, and settlement back to the original chain. No XRP is being created, it's just being reused. Why does Solana matter for wrapped XRP? Solana is built for high speed, low fees, and high volume DeFi activity. That makes it attractive for lending, borrowing, perpetuals, and structured products. When XRP is wrapped onto Solana, it enters a fast DeFi environment, and it can be used just like Ethereum or other stablecoins on Solana's network. But unlike those assets, XRP has deep global liquidity, and it also has connections to payments and FX, and those combinations are rare. XRP can be used as cross-chain collateral, and here's the big idea: collateral is more important than trading. Trading is optional. Collateral is always required. So when XRP is used as collateral on other chains, it could be backing loans, it could support leverage, it anchors a synthetic asset, and it secures liquidity pools. This creates locked demand for XRP. Why? Well, collateral must stay posted. Collateral can't be sold or traded freely, and collateralization reduces the circulating supply. This is very different from speculation. Speculators buy and sell assets. Collateral doesn't move. XRP being posted as collateral means it stays locked until the loans are closed, it stays locked during volatility, and it becomes part of the plumbing system on the back end of these networks for settlement. As more protocols accept XRP as collateral, the demand is going to increase, velocity of XRP decreases, and float tightens. And that is a really powerful combination. And here's the important part: settlement always follows back to the XRPL. And that's what most people miss. No matter where XRP is being used, the settlement for that is going to go back to the mainnet. But why would that happen? Well, XRP was originated on the XRPL. The final accounting is always going to happen back on the mainnet. And no matter what the bridges are or where it's wrapped, it's going to have to reconcile those balances back to the XRPL. So even if there's wrapped XRP trading on Solana, or the collateral sits on Ethereum or EVM-based chains, or the derivatives exist somewhere else, the final truth and the settlement layer is going to be the XRPL. Other chains become execution layers or application layers. The XRPL remains the final source of truth and the final settlement layer for all of these transactions. And this actually creates a flywheel for XRP's value to continue to go up. So what would that look like? Well, XRP would be locked on the XRPL, moving it out of the circulating supply. It appears on other chains. The XRP is used as collateral in these DeFi applications and for whatever other derivatives are out there. Liquidity and usage would then increase for XRP. Supply would become more constrained, and the settlement flows would go back to the XRPL when all those transactions were done. The demand for XRP would continue to increase because more XRP would get locked, the value would increase, and the flywheel would continue to accelerate over time. And this isn't hype. This is how the financial infrastructure would scale over time with XRP being used as collateral. So you might ask, okay, well, why would these other chains even do that? They benefit because they get deep liquidity, they get reliable collateral, and they get fast, cheap settlement through the XRPL. Other chains don't need to hold massive reserves or pre-fund accounts or manage complex FX exposure. They can just execute logically and settle globally. That's the efficient component of using XRP and the XRPL for the finality of settlement while the collateral is being exchanged or used on these other chains. So at the end of the day, this is going to drive the price and the usage simultaneously. While most crypto price moves on fake demand, this is structural demand. Price pressures come from collateral lockups, reduced float, settlement demand, and cross-chain usage. The usage pressures are going to come from lending and borrowing and payments and the bridging. When price and usage rise together, markets become more stable. The volatility compresses over time, and infrastructure can be trusted when there's less volatility. That's how assets graduate from speculation to utility. The more volume that moves over the XRPL and the higher the price gets, the more likely it is going to be designated a tier 1 asset by the BIS, which is an in-game, in my opinion. So why is this different from other bridged hype tokens out there? Many bridge tokens fail because they don't actually have any real demand to support the valuation on the token to begin with, and they rely completely on speculation. And they lack a settlement purpose. XRP is different than all of those things. It already has a settlement role, it already connects payment providers, and it already has global liquidity and demand. Wrapping XRP doesn't replace the XRPL, it only extends it into these other ecosystems. So in summary, wrapping XRP allows it to work on other chains. XRP becomes collateral because it's not just a trading asset, and collateral locks up supply. DeFi usage will increase the demand for this collateral, and settlement flows back to the XRPL. The XRPL remains the layer 1 that everybody settles back to, and a positive flywheel forms. This is not just one chain winning, it's about one asset settling for all these different chains. In the future, the asset that settles everything doesn't need to be loud, it just needs to work. And that's where XRPL sits today, over a decade worth of usage and the clarity it has here in the US. So if you like this content, if you found it valuable, please like, subscribe, hit that notification bell, and let me know what you think in the comments below. I know there's a lot of people out there that think this is crazy, that Chainlink's gonna be the thing that settles everything, or it's Solana. Again, I think the future is multi-chain, but you still need one base layer to settle everything. And you actually just had Larry Fink at the World Economic Forum a few days ago talk about why that's so important for one chain to become the back-end settlement layer for all these different markets and all these different applications. So you don't have to listen to me, you just have to listen to BlackRock and Larry Fink. But again, you might disagree, and let me know why that is in the comments below. We'll see you on the next one.